Guys, Ferret here, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. Today we're going to be talking about my favourite subject at college, and of course in the past that was school. Of course, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, that is obviously drama. And not in the bitchy, gossiping, rumours or argument drama, although we can always have a bitch, yes? Okay, no, I went all pervert there, and we're not doing that either. But beside the point, so the gameplay that you're seeing here is me on free-for-all with the Silence VMP, and my god do I love this gun. The reason there's no winner's circle or, scoreboard at the end, by the way guys, is obviously I recorded it from theatre, but my god have I missed theatre mode as well. It's like whenever you had a game and you were like, I should have recorded that, not a problem, you have theatre mode now, you seem to have got it working properly, so there you go. Beside the point, if we overrun, which we probably will given the length of the script, and I'm trying to talk not too fast, obviously, given my track record with that sometimes, we'll probably switch over to some zombies gameplay on the Giant, there goes my voice. We'll probably switch to some gameplay of the Giant after, so obviously that is deliberate. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So to begin with, let's start with my own personal experiences with drama. It came around year 5 or so, in primary school, so I would have been about 10 at the time, when they were holding a school production for Alice in Wonderland. And I didn't actually audition. I thought it was kinda girly, which in hindsight seemed kinda stupid, but I guess kids of that age just systematically believe some things are to be for one gender. But when you think about it, it doesn't add up why I was doing it in the first place, so I don't know. So as you can tell, I was just a chorus member in that, but nevertheless I enjoyed it with everyone. But the thing is, I kinda chickened out and decided to drop out of it due to people actually who knew me see me do it. So I was kind of embarrassed I guess at the time. But now that I'm older and more experienced, in fact this was years ago when I already knew about this, you can't afford to be embarrassed when you're performing now, that's just the gist of it. As they say, that's showbiz. The next year, in year 6, I was involved in an original school production with my friends when I was about 11. My friends Nick and Ben were also in it, as I just mentioned, and you can find Nick's channel in the description by the way, that's Jumping Hills, who I did the crossbow on AW with, as well as others such as our friends Amy, Hannah, Alex and Emma, and some kids in the year below, well that's just to name a few. The production was called A Pudding for the Chimney Sweep, in which, you guessed it, the play centred around a chimney sweep kid, Jim, played by a guy named Stephen in Victorian times. I had a moderate role in this, Will, and my friend Nick played a character named Jack, and we were both poor children amongst around maybe 5 or 6 others, who had all been taken in by a pie shop owner named Mrs. Perkins. Yeah, this was a primary school production thing. Just because, I don't know why, it just happened, okay? Just run with it. Alex and Emma also played Mr. and Mrs. Mortimer respectively, a wealthy high-class couple who also had kids, which was again made of another 5 or 6 of them, who were all portrayed as very upper class and posh, this that. Also my mate Ben, who I mentioned before, additionally played a chief worker of theirs, Quigley, who had been looting from the family behind their backs and running Mortimer's business whilst he was away, abusing many of the unwealthy workers at his factory. The show was actually quite a big success, and I, amongst all my friends, actually received many positive comments, of course as anyone involved in the production did. Even if I still had the trouble of doubting myself at the time, it's about how much I actually enjoyed performing in it. I guess it's just the doubt and the nerves, I'm not sure either. But in the new year, we started a production of Oklahoma, where I successfully auditioned for the smaller scale role of Fred. Unfortunately, the lack of confidence kicked in again, and I dropped out due to nerves and said lack of confidence. And thankfully though, they quickly did find a replacement for me, so at least I didn't cock up the production. So in primary school, I loved the idea of performing, but I just lacked the confidence to really do so. And that was rather out of character for me, no pun intended, in primary school, because especially in the last 2 years, that were 5 and 6, I was a really outgoing kid, and not to sound bigoted here, but almost everyone actually enjoyed my banter with the teachers, because I was a bit of a cheeky kid, but I made the classes laugh often enough. So anyways, roll on high school, and I'm almost a completely different person, aside from being with my friends of course. We weren't really in the same form, and I only had maybe 4 friends or so, and one who I only went to primary with. The others, I did actually become quickly attached to while he was CH100 Gaming. See, I'm giving these channel links, so you can find him in the description, by the way, you know, just saying. But not that I cared, by the way. I actually grew to love these people, and I grew to love the fact that I didn't need loads of people to be happy, and my new friends merged with my old ones. So we just formed a massive group, to be honest, and by year 9, which is obviously 2 years later, there were at least 30 of us hanging around the corridors at break. Anyways, in year 7, I enjoyed drama with 2 of my close friends, and they'd always make me laugh and enjoy the comedic stuff in drama. And then as a result, we eventually started to get more comfortable doing the dramatic stuff together. And in year 8, I began to excel in drama along with my friends with some real creativity and awesome ideas, for which the head of drama, Mr. Anderson, even congratulated us on. I successfully applied for GCSE drama at the end of the year, and he was my teacher. Then comes year 9 and I start my GCSE drama, and none of my previous friends are actually in my class as our timetables had changed as they do every year, so this was obviously no exception, but our classes have become different due to our other GCSE options that, you know, we didn't pick with each other. But I quickly came to befriend people who I knew in the past but wasn't necessarily friends with at the time. I was in this class from the start of my GCSE studies in September 2012 till I left school in May 2015, so that's around 3-4 years in the GCSE class. And although there may have been the odd person who I didn't necessarily see eye to eye with, we were almost like a family due to all our love for the subject and our teacher Mr. Anderson, who was always super encouraging, supportive and motivative. But he's also off his fucking rocker. I mean, he's so funny though, and he's so kind, I can't fault him. He's easily my favourite teacher. I still have him in my 6th form college now. Some great examples of drama I've done in this class is one where we all got put into groups, as we normally are, and we had to do a drama about the Slender Man of all things, and me and my friends did one about Dickhead Teenagers Camp. And eventually, we nearly all got taken by the Slender Man. Kinda basic, but really fun at the time, and it was a great laugh. So, nothing wrong with that there. Another great one was actually based entirely on my own ideas. Bear in mind I was only about 14 during this, where I played a nerdy kid and my friends Jack and Rob were dickhead, immature teenagers, and this guy Alex portrayed our teacher. It was at least half an hour to 45 minutes long, and it started off quite comedic due to the bullies and the nerd, obviously on the way to the trip. And basically they were on a trip, as I've just mentioned, to an art museum. But they start vandalising the art gallery, including the World War II exhibit. This autistic lad Oliver, and I mentioned that because, well, his enthusiasm was so cute and you could get him into those roles so quickly. He was so awesome with that. That was something that really helped him a lot cope, I think, over the years. That's why I mentioned that. But either way, he played a soldier in a painting, and once they'd graffitied over his painting, let's just say very immature things, you know, he dragged them into the events as punishment. And it had effects on them such as reaching for their iPhones and them turning out to actually be big ass radios, as they took cover from the Nazis, but sadly were eventually captured either way. And eventually they were gassed by Nazis in a concentration camp. Basically time was rewritten and they became a part of history. They were a part of the painting, so technically they never actually were on the trip to begin with. Yeah, and here comes the next one that's really springs to mind about that class. I've been a dress model. Yeah, you heard that right, a dress model. We once created a TIE piece, which stands for Theatre in Education by the way, to educate younger students about internet safety. And well, 4 guys turned a small square table upside down as a girl, Imogen, stood on it, and they repeated hashtag lines and all, you know, just different social media stuff as they spun her on it. And we used a soundscape track and green matrix lighting as well as numbers and co-projected onto the back of the stage, which is known as the cyclorama, as one guy was the embodiment of the internet. He was asking Imogen where she wanted to go, so at one point she says eBay, as she needed a new dress for a party. Don't know why, do people buy dresses on eBay? I don't know, we were running with it. And she asked to view a certain one, and she wanted a front view, a side view and a back view, which were pictures obviously posted by the seller. Guess what I had to do? I had to pose on a raised stack of tables and show off these views. I got the laughs at least, but I was known as that guy who was the walking talking dress for a while. But that's proof I really didn't get embarrassed by it, and I appreciated everyone laughing at me. I actually enjoyed making people laugh, whether that's for better or for worse. There's plenty of others, but we'll be here all day if I keep going, you see. So at the start of the year 10 anyways, I joined a theatre company called That's Entertainment, where my best mate Nick actually had taken me, and we performed Wizard of Oz, in which I played the Tin Man and his Kansas counterpart Hickory, and he played the Scarecrow and Hunk. And I also met some amazing new friends, including the Devil's Bud, just saying, he's also down there, my mate Rory, you know, who I feel like I've known for years now, but I was also actually reunited with some who I never actually thought I'd see again after primary school, so that was awesome too. And bear in mind, this is actually 5 years after I left primary school. The next year we then did a production of We Will Rock You, the musical based on the music of the band Queen, which if you do not know who Queen are, please leave, but I'm pretty sure you do. In which I played the Bohemian rebel leader, Sir Paul McCartney, which is obviously named after the Beatles member Paul McCartney, as well as a backstabbing clone teacher to the protagonist Galileo. Later that year, I also joined another theatre company through my mate Rory, called Cotton Shed, which writes all its own original work, and is a charity that may be funded by numerous folk and companies, including BBC Performing Arts. I also have very good analytical writing skills, which is another reason why I really enjoy it. So it's not just the fact that I do now do it outside of school, but it's also the fact that I'm really good at the theory without bragging. But that's just because English was also always one of my strongest subjects at school, and the two do link in very well with each other, especially literature. But the language also helps you to analyse certain parts of a script. But that's not to say if you're not the best at English that you're doomed to fail. Not at all. I mean, it certainly helps, but it isn't necessarily vital, so long as you're able to write clearly about whatever piece or play you're studying, be it your own performance or someone else's, just so long as you use the appropriate subject vocabulary. So, now that's cleared up, why exactly do I love this subject so much? Well, first off, I owe all my recent found confidence and acceptance as well as teamworking skills to the subject, and every single person I've worked with, especially my teacher Mr. Anderson, who I still have to this day at 6th form. Everyone I've worked with encourages me, and well, obviously I encourage them vice versa. It's a very encouraging subject, and you honestly feel like you're part of something almost, something like a big family, and you share bonds like nothing else during performing. One of the most important aspects, personally, is that these skills along with other art subjects can bring out the absolute best in students, including myself, as I mentioned, be it confidence or ability to work in a team, which obviously the latter of which drama heavily relies on. Whilst it can be socially awkward still sometimes, especially talking around new people, I love working with a team and love contributing ideas, but also listening to what others have to say and their insights and how they can approach something differently. It's great to communicate like that, and I love that I can now do that, which I couldn't, years ago, and I couldn't for years as it were. But I would never have done that if it weren't for drama, and that's the reason I've now found my love for the subject in recent years. It's because of this I hope to pursue a career in some form. I'm interested in multiple areas, as I also actually study media at 6th form. For many of my assessments at college soon, I have to direct a written play, which should be tricky but extremely exciting, and I can't wait to show off some experimental direction. I might even surprise myself, or might disappoint myself, who knows, but it still interests me nevertheless. I also like to write short scripts me and my friends are currently bringing to life, as I feel writing is pivotal to an actor's performance given they need rich material to work with, or at least compelling material, so they can dig deeper and show off their interpretation of who they portray. Also, I believe that's actually another part of one of my exams in college next year, so that should be fun, or at least interesting. But of course, my favourite part is the acting, be it naturalistically styled mishmash, as well as different types of characters, either symbolic, complex, or just, comedic ciphers, this, that, and so on. I love being able to leave my ego at the door, as my teacher says, and just think, oh, you know what, fuck it. And for those moments of performance, I am someone else, or something else. But drama isn't just for careers, like I say, it offers basic situational life skills, such as developing critical thinking, working in a team and giving and listening to constructive feedback, as well as developing your communication skills, and that's just to name a few things off the top of my head. Well, that was a lot covered. If anyone watches this is also interested in the subject or as a hobby, do let me know. It's nice to talk to those you can find similarities with, and let me know why you like it. Next, I think I might go over some data practitioners at some point, seeing as they have really intrigued me recently. And trust me, some of the stuff you learn is really interesting. Although I think I will actually try and break it up and squeeze a different topic in there between now and then, obviously, because otherwise you guys might get a drama overload. Oh my god, I've just thought of a pun. Guys, if Queen Elizabeth started taking up drama as a subject, or a hobby, you know, whichever, what would you call her? A drama queen! No? Okay, well, a guy walks into a drama class, you know, he didn't walk into a bar, he walks into a drama class, because the joke is he walks into a bar, but he doesn't. And he sees them all, you know, doing dramatic acting and stuff, and he says, "What's all the drama about?" Okay, I give up with you guys, you know what. I hope you folks have enjoyed the commentary of the gameplay, and, you know, I'll see you next time. Peace.